Welcome, this is Shakti Nevran, your online astrologer, and I do what we call evolutionary astrology, which is a perspective when we look at the personal chart, where we look at what's your karma you brought with you, what's your unfinished business, where do you need to heal certain areas in your being. So when I do these forecasts, and today we're going to talk about the new moon solar eclipse in Pisces, my emphasis is on helping you to become more self-conscious in how you can navigate specific activations, and I call them the celestial waves breaking. And when you know what's going on and coming at you, which gods and goddesses are come knocking at your door, you have a better choice. You have a choice how you can manifest those potentials in what I call the low-end way or the high-end way. And the deciding factor is your state of consciousness. That's the key. So with all my forecasts, I'm doing the weekly preview, the new moon, the full moon, the daily 1-minute snippets. With all those forecasts, my intention is to, on one hand, to educate you about the beautiful potential astrology holds for us, and teach you a little bit about astrology. And also to really help you to prepare, to be more self-conscious, self-aware, and that's a life more fully lived. So join me. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss the new moon solar eclipse. Last time we talked about the lunar eclipse, which is just 2 weeks back. So the difference between a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse is profound. So the solar eclipse is always a new moon, so it's really a new beginning, a new cycle starting. And there is an interruption between the energy between the sun, the moon and the earth, a new configuration. So I always say, think about eclipses, lunar or solar, as an update, a reboot of your system. That is a very helpful picture to hold. So in a solar eclipse, what's happening, the sun is here, the earth is here, and the moon comes around and is in front of the sun, between the sun and the earth. So there's this moment of interruption of the usual flow of the life force energy of the sun, and that kind of qualifies for that reboot we're talking about. So some astrologers say that the eclipses are kind of valid and impactful wherever they happen in your chart, depending on the time frame. In their perspective, it's half a year. And I haven't been able to verify that in my own experience, but I do know that it's a longer impact than just a new moon, which just starts us into a monthly cycle here. So for you as an individual, it's important to know where that happens in your chart. So, because this is where that new energy is, and then of course it depends on which sign it is. So today we're going to discuss a lot about Pisces, not only because the solar eclipse is in Pisces, but also there are all kinds of other planets happening there. So we're going to talk about Pisces. So if you have any planets in Pisces, that would be of interest for you. So if you don't know your personal birth chart, your horoscope, you can go to my website, mauiastrologyreading.com, and there you can sign up for my newsletter, and then you get filtered into a program where you can put your birth information in and you get your own chart. Additionally, with your love stone report. And as you know, if you have been following me for a while, I'm a gemstone expert. Hi Diane, good to see you. So as that, I always recommend at the end of the video a certain gemstone you can use to support the specific energies of the time frame I'm talking about. So today we're going to talk about the solar eclipse in Pisces. So this one is a supercharged solar eclipse because the Sun, the Moon, of course, is in Pisces, but also Neptune, Mercury, and the South Node. And they're kind of in a rolling conjunction. So they're kind of one connects with the other. So all the other planets being part of the solar eclipse, kind of adding information and an impact to the solar eclipse. So I'm going to translate that all in English here in a moment, so hang in there. We also have a Mars Uranus conjunction as part of a T-square with Pluto and Jupiter. So Mars Uranus in Aries, a sign of the warrior. Mars, the archetype of the warrior. Uranus, the archetype of the rebel. So they're kind of joining hands in Aries. So as you might have realized, we're living in very potentially violent and challenging times. So that's a reflection of that. So let's start out with the Piscean qualities, because in the end what we are asked of is to really find ways to manifest both qualities. So Sun, Moon, Neptune, Mercury, and South Node in Pisces. So Pisces is the last sign in one circle of evolution. So it starts with Aries, which is the beginning energy, the start, a new cycle of evolution. And then Pisces is the last step in one circle of evolution. So in a way, Pisces is always kind of about integration, transcendent, and kind of preparing us for a new start. So Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is in its own sign, so it's very, very strong because of that. So Neptune, we look at the mystic, the archetype of the mystic, the archetype of our longing to feel expanded states of consciousness, to truly feel connected with what I call the ocean consciousness. So imagine yourself, you're the wave in the ocean, and the wave is part of the ocean. So all our troubles and pain and suffering actually is because we only identified with the top of the wave. But that because it's so painful, we all carry that quality, that longing for connecting with what's more truly our true nature and our heritage as spiritual beings in a human body. So whenever we have activations around Pisces, it's really about finding our own connection to the divine, to the ocean consciousness. It is about finding a new vision, and I think that's really up for all of us right now, not only in America, in the United States, in America, but all over the world. I mean, the world has become so small, so whatever happens in one part is impacting the other parts. So Mercury in Pisces is our way we filter information, how we bring in things we look at and understand. So right now we are more open to define a new vision personally, and of course that will trickle back again into the ocean. But what's truly important here is that the South Node is also in Pisces. So if you have been following me, you know a little bit about evolutionary astrology, and that we look at the South Node in the personal birth chart as that description of where we left things off, of the unfinished karmic business, so to speak. So with the South Node in Pisces, we are looking collectively at unfinished business around oneness, around how separated we are and how we make decisions from that point of separation. So all the trips which are so hurtful for us collectively, by individuals being driven by power and greed and me and egocentric ways of showing up in the world, which is really dominant, especially in the political landscape these days. So all that can ultimately only be remedied on a personal level. So Diane, you have heard me talk about it more than once. Our personal PowerPoint is how we show up in our individual life. How much kindness, how much consciousness, just the way we connect with other people. So that will trickle back into the collective, into the morphogenetic field. And this is how truly changes and growth is happening. So then added into that is the Mars Uranus conjunction. So Mars is always about our passion. Mars is about taking action. It's about doing something according to our beliefs. So Uranus, the rebel, the outsider, the one who breaks with the mainstream paradigm, and Mars Uranus there in conjunction for all of us, I believe, is really pointing towards that is an individual journey we all have to make. We all have to find that new vision with all the Piscean stuff, and we have to take action. We have to take steps to integrate and be accordingly to that vision. So as an individual, I would want you to look where you have the solar eclipse and where the Mars Uranus is happening in your chart. That will give you a clearer idea of how you and where in your life you need that new vision. You need to connect to the bigger field. You need to connect to something beyond your ego identity. So I do believe that deep down we all have that need and that longing for that sense of connection. And in a way we are very hurt if we only act from the top of the wave. So this is where we identified with the stories. This is where we feel lonely and disconnected. So that Mars-Uranus connection is in a T-square with Pluto and Jupiter. So opposition to Pluto, squaring Jupiter. So Jupiter is always asking us to expand out of the comfort zone, thinking bigger, living bigger, bringing our best sense of self forward. And Pluto is a lot of transformation of the hell realms, of the underground, everything what's unconscious. So I think that's a good symbolic representation of what we're looking at right now. And I just read an article in the Mountain Astrologer today. I want to read you a little thing here about the T-square. So it's Leah Whitehorse, and she says, Jupiter, co-ruler of Pisces, is opposite Uranus and square Pluto. Mars is also in the tight conjunction with Uranus, triggering the T-square pattern. The eclipse seems to be awaken a giant sea monster sleeping at the bottom of the ocean. Perhaps this is our chance to show our courage and slay the beast once and for all. So I thought this is kind of really interesting, because here I'm always talking about the ocean, and I kind of like the idea of slaying the monster, if it's a personal monster of egocentricity, or if it's a monster out there we all confronted with. So central is finding your own personal vision, finding something for you worth fighting for, making a stand. And this not from an ego-driven perspective. So waking up is basically bringing our point of attention and identification from the top of the wave all the way down to where the ocean becomes a wave. So this is the invitation from now forward for quite a while to find that personal vision and to take steps, to do what's necessary, to have the courage to step up. Okay, you know I'm a Gemstone expert, and this solar eclipse I would want to talk about the amethyst. I have talked about the amethyst before. You see, this is a really nice big crystal here. The amethyst is a stone which is not really expensive. You can find it in druzies, in all kinds of jewelry, stones, crystals for meditation. So it's a stone you can definitely have in your arsenal and play with. So amethyst is connected with the crown chakra. So it opens us up to the ocean consciousness, to all that is, to a more spiritual perspective, to really connect with our individual vision and feed into the collective vision. So it's a wonderful stone for meditation. So either if you have big crystals, you can layer a field around your body, which is very, very powerful, but for that you need kind of bigger stones. Or if you have a smaller crystal, you can just put it in your third eye or behind your head if you're laying down, and it will just open your consciousness to an expanded perspective, to be more connected with your own inner guidance, with the realization that you are a spiritual being having a bodily experience in this three-dimensional reality. So yeah, play around with amethyst. Let me know how you experience it, because I'm still learning about what different people, what kind of experience people have. So keep me posted. Make sure you like the video if you do, and leave me your comments. So if you have any questions or you just want to say hello, I love to hear back, so I'm not just talking into this empty space. So Diane, you have been so good with me, with your feedback and your comments. I really appreciate it. So yeah, slaying the monster. I'm all with you, Diane. So, but whatever we do in the field of action, it starts with having a vision. It starts with knowing what we are about. So I think right now we're in a time where this becomes really clear, really crystal clear into our consciousness. So personally you can speed up that process by meditating with crystals, because crystals really help us to kind of zoom into the center and become more balanced, and to even be able to meditate, because a lot of our Western way of thinking and being so bombarded with all these impressions on all kinds of screens all the time, it is helpful if we are supported to really drop in and get to that deeper layer of connecting with the ocean consciousness. And this is where a whole lot of personal guidance and inspiration is coming in. So I hope you will have a wonderful solar eclipse, and make sure you know where it's happening in your chart, and then you can take all the global information, the general information I've given you today, and become more concrete with it. Okay, all the best, and as we say here on Maui, Hawaii, aloha or namaste, and I see you soon.